P Pump Disassembly. That's what you'll be able to do when you finish this program. Brought to you by Bosch. Of course, you'll remove the governor, but disassembly and service of the various governors fitted to the P Pump will be covered in other Bosch programs. How do you begin? With a clean work area, of course. Dirt and dust are the enemies of precision fuel injection equipment. Written instructions are a necessity, along with your know-how to apply the specs, tolerances, and torque values in those instructions. Drain out the lubricating oil as your first step in disassembly. Notice how this vise makes it easier. Install this drive coupling. Tighten the nut, but don't torque it. Remove the feed pump. Also the top cover over the barrel assemblies. That completes your preparation. Camshaft removal requires a series of steps. First, loosen the nuts for all the barrel assemblies, but don't remove them yet. After you swing the pump to the other side, remove these plugs from the tappet holder bores. Now to get at the bottom end, you'll want to pull the pump from the vise. Remount it like this and remove the bottom cover. Use the tool on the coupling to rotate cam lobe number 1 to fully depress the tappet to TDC. Back out the screw of this tappet holder tool. You're going to use a tool like this on most pumps to lift and hold each tappet away from its cam lobe. After you thread it in by hand, pull it up snug. But be careful. Too much force will strip the threads in the aluminum housing. Now rotate to TDC number 5, the next cylinder in the firing order, and thread in this holder. With all tools in place, finish the job by turning each socket head screw just until the camshaft spins freely. A few pumps require a different tool. See your written instructions. If your pump has a center bearing, remove these retaining screws. With drive coupling removed, you can take out these 4 screws from the bearing plate. And here comes the camshaft, including its center bearing. With a soft-faced mallet, you have tapped the other end to free the plate from the housing. Good job. Lift out the center bearing, and you can complete this part of the disassembly, removing the camshaft. Removal of the pumping elements, tappets, plungers, and barrels, begins with removal of the governor housing. You may want to move the pump to this fixture, which includes the tool for compressing the plunger springs. After you press the first roller tappet, loosen its holder like this. Now you can unscrew the tool for number 1. Keep pressing until the tool is out. In the same way, do number 2 and the other cylinders. Now your roller tappets can be lifted out. When you lift out your plunger by the lower spring seat, lift it straight up and don't drop it. Keep track of the plungers by cylinder number and save yourself 6 expensive headaches. Take out the plunger springs. The sleeve and upper spring seat will come out easier if you center the rack. Lift carefully. It's easy for these parts to get stuck. Now, with the top side up and the nuts removed, use this puller tool to lift the barrel assemblies. If you can't use this tool, you'll have to pry them loose from the housing, like this. Whichever way, put each barrel back together with its own plunger As you know, they're mated at the factory and stay together for the rest of their lives. That's why a parts tray like this pays off, helping you keep each cylinder's parts together as you complete the removal of the pumping elements. Removing the rack is your next step. After you unscrew the block, the seat and spring will come off, like this. You'll need this tool to remove the bushing retainer. Remove this pin. Now the rack is free to slide out the other end. As you take this out with its bushing, that completes your removal of the rack. Further disassembly of the barrel assemblies again requires you to keep track of each element by cylinder number, especially the shims. Otherwise, you've got another set of headaches. With the shims removed, put the barrel assembly on the mounting bracket like this. That makes it easier to remove the O-rings. Use this same punch to remove this snap ring from its recess. But be careful, it's easy to stab yourself. Now you can lift off the baffle sleeve and its washer. With the barrel assembly turned over, you can remove the delivery valve holder. Removing the holder uncovers the spacer, the spring, and the copper gasket, as well as the delivery valve and body. Ease the barrel up through the flange bushing. When you've done that for all cylinders, you've completed barrel assemblies. Inspection is the final step. You've cleaned and washed all parts and kept them in cylinder order. In no single pump will you find all the faults we're going to demonstrate for you. This is not a fault. It's the right way to pick up a plunger, holding it by its foot. Look close. This plunger's in good condition. The control edges are sharp, and it's free from scratches and scuff marks. Inspect the flange bushings. What would you do if you found one like this? If it has a crack like that, replace it. If the outside's okay, check this pin. This one's good, but if it's damaged, it could foul up your assembly and calibration. Check the delivery valve. It should look like this. Conical seat and its collar are both free from scratches and wear marks. If the valve body has a hairline crack, even one as hard to spot as this, the assembly must be replaced. Here's another example of a reject, a cracked delivery valve holder. You'd also replace this assembly. The roller is worn, and even if it weren't, the pin is scored. Replace the whole assembly. It's true economy. If the center bearing is scored, like this, replace it. How about a camshaft like this? See the chipped keyway? Even the best-made parts may suffer from misuse. The customer expects first-class repairs. But a stain like this on a cam lobe is no problem unless the surface is etched. Check the roller bearings for wear, pitting, and scoring. Are these okay? You bet they are. Flex each delivery valve spring and bend it as you look for cracks, nicks, and signs of chafing. No problem here. Same thing for each plunger spring. No problem here either. Finally, check the housing for cracks and signs of erosion, such as from cavitation. Check smoothness of machined surfaces and gasket surfaces. It's a good housing. And a good job you've done. You've completed disassembly of the P pump. Brought to you by BOSCH.